We're here to help you get really well informed by pulling out the absolute best insights from some really compelling sources. And today we're taking a close look at some, well, truly inspiring material. It's a powerful message, really, all wrapped up in the title. Focus on you until you win. This isn't, just another self-help book you read and forget. It feels more like a profound call to action, to really reevaluate how we approach our lives, our goals. It offers a path to, well, what the author calls an unshakable future.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here, I think, is the core idea. It's a simple truth, but one we often overlook, maybe. It becomes so clear in this material. Nobody, absolutely nobody is coming to save you.
Yeah.
That's the starting point. It really highlights that your life only fundamentally changes when you consciously decide to direct all your energy inwards on yourself. It's about understanding that, your dreams, your goals, the future you actually want. It all hinges on your willingness to focus really intensely on your own growth without getting bogged down by distractions or constantly needing permission from outside. It's a really powerful call to just embrace your own agency. Liberating, almost.
That is a powerful starting point, isn't it? And for you listening right now, this material really offers a kind of practical blueprint. It's about building an incredibly strong, resilient, and focused version of yourself. It seems to move beyond just philosophy. It gives you tangible, actionable steps to really empower your journey. The promise here is basically if you master yourself, if you genuinely commit to this internal work, you can build a future that's pretty much unshakable, where setbacks don't totally break you and rejections don't actually stop you.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just about ticking off achievements or reaching some external goal. It's about a really deep internal transformation. The book gives you specific strategies, ways to overcome those really common insidious obstacles we all bump up against.
Like what specifically?
Well, things like pervasive distraction, that constant pull away from what matters, crippling self-doubt, the voice that whispers you're not good enough, the relentless noise of external criticism, everyone else's opinions, and also that unsettling feeling of just being stuck, directionless, trapped in a rut. It directly tackles those deep internal battles that, let's be honest, are often the real gatekeepers to doing anything meaningful.
So what does all this really mean for you, the listener, as you're taking this in? It means getting the essential tools to genuinely own your journey, to fight really fiercely for your aspirations, even when the odds feel totally stacked against you. And, crucially, to consistently rise again, no matter how many times life tries to knock you down. It's presented as a practical pathway to becoming, well, truly unbreakable, mastering yourself instead of just, passively waiting for things to change or someone else to fix it.
Right. Our exploration today is going to really examine the most impactful nuggets of knowledge from this material. Will help you understand not just what the author suggests you do, but why these principles are so critical, why they matter for sustained personal growth and, lasting success. We'll look at how these seemingly simple truths, when you apply them with consistency, with real intention, can lead to huge, deeply personal shifts in your life.
Absolutely. So stay with us as we process these key insights. Our goal is that you walk away well-informed and hopefully deeply inspired to maybe shift your own focus in a significant way. Let's start with the foundational concepts, the ones presented and what the author sets up as the first chapter. Okay, so the material kicks off with a really direct, almost confrontational idea. Focus fully on building your strongest self every day. It presents this as a non-negotiable reality, like a fundamental truth we often try to ignore. The core message is that daily, consistent commitment to improving yourself isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely essential. Because life itself is always moving, it doesn't pause, it doesn't wait for you. What's the profound implication the author draws from that constant motion?
It's quite stark, actually. The author basically says that every single day you don't actively spend building yourself is a day that subtly but powerfully compounds against you. It pushes you, little by little, further from the life you actually want. It's not about big dramatic failures, It's more like a silent erosion of your potential. So the implication is there's really no standing still on this journey. You're either deliberately moving forward or you're kind of unconsciously falling behind. It really challenges that passive mindset so many of us fall into, maybe without even realizing it.
That's a sobering thought, yeah. The idea that inaction isn't neutral, it's actually a negative force. And within this, the author introduces the greatest gift, daily commitment. It frames this daily commitment as the most profound gift you can give yourself. A commitment to becoming stronger, wiser, more disciplined. This isn't about just occasional bursts of effort, is it?
No, not at all. It's really clear that this isn't sporadic. It's a daily, unwavering decision you make, regardless of how you feel when you wake up that morning. The material gets into why this consistency is so hard for most people, even when they know it's important. Talks about how our brains are often wired for, immediate gratification. That makes the long-term, often invisible work of consistency feel kind of unrewarding in the moment.
Right. You don't always see the results right away.
Exactly. So the author suggests that consistency isn't just about doing the work, but also actively reframing how we see those small daily wins and actually building what they call a trust muscle with ourselves. That internal trust, the material points out, is a surprisingly powerful and often overlooked concept, building faith in your own ability to follow through.
That trust muscle. That's fascinating. So it's not just about the end result, but the internal shift that happens when you become someone who actually shows up. What kind of small actions does the material highlight? The things that act as these bricks, especially for someone who feels maybe overwhelmed by huge goals.
Yeah, the material is super practical here. It's not about like suddenly adding 2 extra hours to your day. That's overwhelming. It's just micro commitments. Things like maybe dedicating just 10 focused minutes to a difficult task instead of avoiding it all day.
Okay.
Or choosing one healthy snack when you have a craving. Not necessarily complete diet overhaul overnight. It highlights that the choice itself, the choice to do the small right thing, even when it's uncomfortable, that's the brick.
Yeah.
It's that 1 hour of reading instead of, mindlessly scrolling social media. That single workout when you'd much rather stay on the couch. Or quietly setting realistic, meaningful goals for your life in a short, focused moment. These aren't just actions. The material frames them as daily declarations of self-respect, of self-investment, quietly building a really robust internal foundation.
That leads us perfectly into this idea of building in the unseen. The material really emphasizes that the most significant work, the real building, often happens when life is tough, when you're tired, discouraged, or, and this is key, when absolutely no one is watching or applauding your efforts. How does this invisible work, as they call it, contribute to our future resilience?
This concept is really central to the whole message, this invisible work, the struggle, the silence, the sheer perseverance when you're filled with doubt. That's precisely the foundation for a future that's immune to setbacks gets laid. It directly challenges our culture's expectation of, immediate gratification. See results now. The author makes it crystal clear. Genuine strength, true resilience, lasting success. They aren't forged in the moments of public praise or visible wins. They're forged in the quiet, consistent effort when results aren't visible yet, and the only witness is yourself. It's a really profound reorientation of what progress actually means.
A profound reorientation. Yeah, I like that. And this connects straight to action over intention and the power of consistency. Your strongest self isn't built on just good intentions or wishful thinking. It's built on consistent action. We all know motivation is fickle, right? It comes and goes. But the material frames consistency as the true secret weapon. It's not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it is incredibly powerful. And as the author says, simply, it works.
And the author challenges us directly here. They ask you, the listener, to be brutally honest. Are you genuinely building yourself? Or are you constantly distracting yourself? Are you actively pushing forward? Or are you kind of letting life just push you around? The power in facing that question, however tough the answer might be, actually offers immense freedom. It's about recognizing that consistent action, even small, sometimes mundane steps, is what translates your intentions into actual, tangible reality. It's the daily ritual, not the big announcement, that fundamentally shifts your path.
And this commitment to consistency, to this invisible work, it ultimately brings us to the idea of focus as a superpower and personal responsibility. The material basically declares that growth isn't just an option. In a dynamic world, it's a requirement. You have to protect your focus like your life depends on it because, well, in a very real sense, it does. In a world that seems deliberately designed for distraction, endless notifications, negative news cycles, countless voices vying for your attention focus really does emerge as your most vital superpower.
This is such a critical insight for today. Your attention, the author argues, is sacred. It quite literally builds your life moment by moment. When you master it, when you learn to direct it, you stop seeking external approval all the time. You stop needing permission from others to move forward. You stop wasting precious energy explaining yourself over and over. The profound conclusion here is that nobody else is responsible for building you up. That, the material asserts really firmly, is your most important job, your most fundamental personal responsibility. It's about taking the reins of your own mental landscape and directing it with deliberate, unwavering intent.
Building right on that idea, protecting your most valuable asset, the material then shifts focus. Chapter 2 is about how to train your mind to ignore all outside noise. It highlights something we all experience. Every day brings this relentless barrage of opinions, distractions, voices, trying to tell you who you should be. And without carefully guarding your mind, you could spend your entire life just reacting to other people's expectations, constantly comparing, seeking validation, and, well, ultimately losing yourself in all that noise. It's a pretty sobering thought, isn't it?
It really is, and it's a critical point for anyone listening who wants to achieve something meaningful. Your attention, like we just discussed, is a finite, precious resource. The author meticulously unpacks how giving it away freely to every piece of external static means you have literally nothing left for your own dreams, for sustaining your own energy, or for building genuine internal confidence. Your dreams will just dry up, your energy will fade, your confidence will crumble if you're constantly letting this external noise infiltrate and just dominate your mental space.
So it's really about treating the mind as a valuable possession. The material hammers this home. Your mind is your most valuable asset, period. It deserves stringent, almost ruthless protection. External opinions, they don't build your life, they don't pay your bills, they certainly don't create the unique future only you can envision. Your actions, your choices, your daily focused effort, that's what does.
What's the immediate consequence the author points out when we fail to protect this asset?
It's laid out very clearly. The moment you start internalizing every opinion, every piece of unsolicited advice, you fundamentally surrender your power. Self-doubt immediately creeps in, your own chosen path becomes uncertain, fuzzy, and your vision, that clear picture of your future, it starts to shrink, to conform to someone else's often limited thinking. It's a gradual but really insidious process of self-sabotage, where you essentially allow external voices to become your internal chains. Okay, that sounds like it requires some serious inner work to counteract. So building inner strength and clarity becomes absolutely paramount. Training your mind to ignore the noise isn't just about blocking things out. It's about cultivating profound inner strength. It's about being so rooted in your own vision, your own identity, that external voices, no matter how loud or critical, simply cannot shake you. This isn't arrogance, though, is it?
No, definitely not arrogance. The material clarifies that this is clarity. It's an unwavering understanding that your life is simply too important, too precious to be hijacked by other people's doubts, their fears, or their, unexamined perspectives. The practical steps are quite specific, actually. They require real intentionality. The first step, get crystal clear with absolute precision on what truly matters to you. Then, any comment, any distraction, any activity that doesn't actively push you closer to that vision or build your strength or energize you, it's identified as just noise, pure static. And the author urges us to be ruthless in protecting our mental space from negativity, from gossip, from comparison, from fear. It's an active daily filtering process you have to engage in.
I like that emphasis on ruthless protection. It really does lead to finding your own voice and freedom. The material encourages you to learn how to quiet your mind when the world outside gets overwhelmingly loud, to learn to actually hear your own voice above the constant chatter, and to trust your instincts, your gut feelings, even when others around you don't understand or maybe offer conflicting advice. True strength, the author suggests, comes from that internal knowing that you don't actually need validation or permission to pursue your path.
And that's where the real freedom is, right? There will always be critics, always people who doubt or misunderstand. It's inevitable. Your responsibility, according to this material, is to prevent their noise from ever getting inside your mind, to keep your mental space clean, strong, and perpetually focused on what serves your vision. This ultimately leads to a profound sense of freedom, the freedom to pursue your highest potential without that debilitating drag of borrowed doubts or external expectations weighing you down. It's the liberation of your true self, in a way.
It's a constant effort, though, which brings us to the daily test of focus. Every single day, the author says, presents a test. There's the temptation to react, to defend your choices, to explain yourself endlessly, or to seek approval from others. How does the material suggest we actually leverage these daily tests?
Each time you consciously choose to rise above those temptations, to not react, to not defend unnecessarily, you strengthen your mind. You make it incrementally more unshakable, even when chaos is swirling around you. The author offers a really provocative thought here. Greatness is never built by following the crowd. It's built by those who have the courage to walk alone when necessary. Your path becomes clearer, your progress accelerates exponentially when you master the art of ignoring what truly doesn't serve your purpose. It's a daily practice, really, of choosing your truth over external pressures and building this internal fortress against distraction.
Moving right along, the material presents a real cornerstone principle in its third chapter. Fight for your dreams when no one believes. This chapter kicks off with a powerful, almost stark realization. If you don't fight for your dreams, literally nobody else will. Others might care about you deeply, they might love you, but they cannot see your internal fire. They can't see that unique vision that, as the author puts it, was given only to you.
Mm.
Why is that such a crucial understanding when you're pursuing something, maybe something extraordinary?
It's a critical distinction, yeah. And the material provides really powerful clarity on this. When you pursue something beyond the comfortable, beyond the ordinary, doubt from others isn't just possible, it's pretty much inevitable. Their belief, the author stresses, is not a requirement for your success. Your own belief is the only non-negotiable factor here. The material gives some illustrative examples, reminding us that many great lives, many transformative ideas were almost derailed by someone close saying, you can't do that. And it helps us understand that this often isn't their fault. It's usually a reflection of their own limitations, their own fears, or just a perspective they simply aren't equipped to share. You can't really expect others to fully understand a path they weren't meant to walk themselves.
That makes so much sense, and it inevitably leads to what the author calls the lonely inner battle. Fighting for dreams, they reveal, is often solitary work. There will be countless moments of self-doubt, periods where your efforts seem to vanish with no visible results and only your own belief to cling to. This ability to believe without immediate external evidence, to hold on to your vision in the dark, so to speak, is presented as the very genesis of every great achievement.
The material explores this really deeply. Small dreams, it notes, are comfortable, they don't provoke much resistance. But when you decide to break the mold, when you aim to build something truly extraordinary, you must expect questioning. You must expect doubt, even from those closest to you. The author clarifies, this isn't necessarily hatred. It often stems from fear, or their own limited perspective. Your challenge is to fight through this resistance, both the external kind and the internal kind, understanding that the greatest battles are often waged right inside your own mind.
This internal battle, it sounds like it requires a deeply rooted sense of purpose over approval. The fight for your dreams is both external against obstacles and internal, right? With those inner voices of doubt, fear, and the desire for comfort often being the loudest. True fighters, the material states, are motivated by an unwavering purpose, not by the fleeting desire for applause or validation. They're too busy building their future, brick by hard-won brick, to really care about external approval. They understand that respect, true earned respect, always follows results.
And the implication for you, listening, is profound. This battle, the struggle, is precisely what develops unparalleled toughness, resilience, a soul capable of handling immense pressure. The author illustrates this vividly. Every rejection sharpens you. Every no pushes you deeper into your conviction. Every perceived failure teaches you how to fight smarter next time. No battle fought for a real dream, the material assures us, is ever truly wasted. It's all part of the forging process. It makes you stronger.
That's a truly inspiring way to look at setbacks, and it connects directly to this idea of dreams as transformation. Your dream, the author argues, matters hugely, not just for the achievement itself, but for the profound personal transformation it forces within you. It molds you into who you're truly meant to be, compelling you to cultivate discipline, unwavering focus, relentless perseverance. Dreams are presented almost as a training ground for greatness, calling forth your absolute best self.
Right, and the material emphasizes that courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about the resolute decision to move forward despite the fear. It's about getting back up after you fall, choosing to believe again each morning, even when your spirit feels bruised or tired. The author provides a really powerful anchor for those moments when quitting seems like the most reasonable option. Remember, you're fighting for your future, for your authentic self, not just for attention or some fleeting recognition. That internal purpose becomes your unshakable fuel.
And finally, we arrive at your personal war. Nobody, the author stresses, can fight this battle for you. It's you against your excuses, your doubts, your temptation to settle for less than you're capable of. Winners, in this view, are those who simply keep going despite discouragement, who take the next necessary step even when the path isn't clear, and who keep showing up long enough to finally catch their breaks, the ones that inevitably come to those who persist.
The provocative thought here is crystal clear, really unapologetic. Never apologize for fighting for your dreams.
Yeah.
Never feel guilty for choosing a path that others might fear or just don't understand. Never, ever dilute your ambition to make others comfortable. Fight like your life literally depends on it, Because, the author concludes, your future self, your future peace, your profound sense of fulfillment, it all hinges on the fight you choose to wage today. It's a powerful testament to unwavering self-belief.
Okay, shifting our focus now to the principles laid out in the fourth chapter. Show up for yourself every single day.
Yeah.
This is presented as another core non-negotiable truth. If you want anything real, anything meaningful to happen in your life, you must show up for yourself every single day. Not occasionally, not just when it's convenient, and certainly not only when you feel motivated, but consistently,
Right.
day in, day out. Why does the material emphasize this unwavering daily commitment so strongly?
It's because the life you desire, the author explains very clearly, isn't built on those fleeting moments of inspiration or sudden bursts of motivation. It's built on unwavering daily commitment. The material highlights that inconsistency is, in fact, the primary dream killer. Think about it. Many people have immense potential, right? But they fail to realize it simply because they show up one day full of enthusiasm and then disappear the next. They commit only when it's easy, and they retreat as soon as challenges or discomfort arise. This pattern, the author warns, prevents any significant momentum from building, any genuine progress from accumulating. It's a stark reminder, really, that half-hearted efforts just yield half-hearted results.
So it's about building self-trust and an unshakable foundation through this daily presence, this showing up. The material suggests you must become the kind of person who shows up regardless of your feelings that day, someone you can implicitly trust to follow through on your own commitments. If you make a promise to yourself, a commitment to a task, a goal, you have to keep it daily. What's the profound benefit of cultivating this kind of self-trust?
Well, the world, the author observes, consistently rewards consistency. Success naturally gravitates toward those who persist, even on the boring days, the difficult days, the painful days. This daily self-commitment builds an internal self-respect that no one and nothing can really erode. You stop needing external praise or constant visible signs of progress all the time because you are continually proving your worth to yourself through consistent, deliberate action. It's a deep form of internal validation that becomes an unshakable foundation for literally everything else you pursue.
And this leads to a really crucial clarification. Showing up isn't about perfection, but progress. It's not about achieving flawless execution every single day, right? It's simply about being there for yourself. It's about making progress, however small, however slow it might feel, because any step forward is infinitely better than standing still, or worse, retreating.
Exactly. The author really emphasizes that the most crucial days are often those when you genuinely don't feel like doing anything at all. When the excuses are loud in your head and the finish line seems impossibly far away. Those are the days, the material asserts, that profoundly distinguish the dreamers from the doers. Those are the moments that prove that your future aspirations actually outweigh your fleeting feelings and temporary discomfort. It's in those specific struggles that you build true, lasting resolve.
That makes perfect sense. This consistent effort then creates what the author calls the compounding effect of consistency. You have to train yourself essentially to be reliable to yourself. Every time you show up, every time you follow through on even a small commitment you made to yourself, you strengthen that inner foundation. And over time, that transforms, doesn't it? It goes from being about sheer willpower, which can be exhausting, to becoming an integral part of your identity. Showing up just becomes automatic, a fundamental aspect of who you are.
Yeah, the author is unequivocal here.
Mm.
You cannot expect significant results without consistency. You can't expect genuine growth without discipline, or lasting change without sustained effort. It just doesn't happen. Dreams, the material demands, require daily action in ways that are sometimes visible, but often invisible. It's the relentless accumulation of those small, intentional acts that eventually leads to monumental shifts. This commitment becomes a deeply ingrained part of your operating system, so to speak.
The chapter wraps up with what the author calls the winner's secret and your masterpiece. Winners, the material reveals, aren't necessarily those who had an easy path or just got a series of lucky breaks. They are, almost universally, those who kept showing up long after everyone else got tired and gave up. Those who practiced their craft in obscurity when no one was watching, and those who remained committed even when visible results were slow or non-existent.
And for you, listening now, the author makes it really clear. Every morning offers a fresh opportunity, a chance to show up stronger than yesterday and make yourself proud. You owe it to your dreams, you owe it to that younger version of yourself who dared to hope, and you owe it to the person you are actively becoming to simply show up. Those smallest steps genuinely count. The provocative thought the author leaves us with is profound. There is no secret formula. There's no magic shortcut. There's only the day-to-day grind sometimes of doing what needs to be done. Master the art of showing up daily, and you can build anything. You're actively writing your future with every single choice. Make it a masterpiece that truly reflects the strength and the unwavering commitment it took to keep showing up.
Okay, let's transition now to the vital insights presented in the fifth chapter. Cut out every distraction that weakens your focus. The material makes a really striking observation, and it feels more relevant than ever today. The world isn't short on opportunities, it's short on focus. Starting something new is often the easy part, right? Seeing it through to completion, that's the real profound challenge. Why is this distinction so crucial, especially in our modern, hyper-connected world?
This is such a critical point of personal responsibility now, in the 21st century. Every single day, countless things are actively vying for your mind, for your precious time, for your finite energy. The author warns quite starkly that if you don't ruthlessly eliminate these distractions, they will slowly, insidiously erode your future. They'll steal your potential, steal your precious time, often without you even realizing the immense cost until it's too late. Focus isn't something you just find, like lost keys. It's something you have to actively build and vigorously protect by removing anything and everything that weakens it. You have dreams, you have goals, the author reminds us, that simply cannot afford to be sacrificed to meaningless hours spent on distractions.
That's a powerful way to frame it. Distractions are actively stealing your future. Not just annoying, but stealing. So the material really drives home the cost of distraction, your future. Every distraction, the author asserts, comes with a profound, tangible cost. Your future self, your potential. If you're not actively controlling your attention, then someone else or something else, an app, the news cycle, someone else's trauma, certainly is controlling it for you. The world, the material warns bluntly, doesn't really care about your personal dreams. It cares about consuming your time, often without offering any genuine, lasting returns. Distractions in this context aren't just nuisances, they are thieves.
And the implication for you, listening, is deeply personal. Cutting out distractions isn't just about being more productive at work. It's about reclaiming genuine ownership of your life. It's about a firm refusal to be enslaved by constant interruptions, by unproductive gossip, by mindless scrolling through feeds, or by entertainment that doesn't actually foster growth or intellectual enrichment. It's about standing up and declaring with real conviction, my life, my potential, my future, they matter too much to be idly wasted away. This is really a battle for your autonomy.
That reframes the stakes entirely, doesn't it? So how does the material suggest we actually engage in this strategic elimination of distractions? It seems like it lays out a multi-step, almost methodical process.
It does, and it's quite actionable, which is helpful. The author starts with step one, brutal honesty. You have to confront, really confront, precisely where you're losing hours without realizing it. Identify the habits that actively drain your energy and scatter your focus. You can't effectively fix what you refuse to acknowledge or face. Then step two, create a supportive environment. Your physical space, your digital space, they should consistently propel you toward focus, not away from it. This means practically cleaning your desk, removing clutter, minimizing background noise, actively blocking tempting websites or apps during work times. The goal is to make it effortlessly easy to do the right thing and significantly harder to fall into distraction. And finally, protect your mental space. This means recognizing that not every conversation, not every argument online, not every negative opinion you encounter truly deserves your precious time or energy. You must guard your peace, the author emphasizes, as vigilantly as if your future depends on it, because it absolutely does. The material suggests practical systems too, like setting clear, non-negotiable work times, turning off all non-essential notifications, which is huge, and strictly limiting exposure to that kind of mind-pulling, low-value content. Starting small, the author notes, even with just one truly focused hour can build incredible momentum.
That's incredibly practical advice, covering everything from the physical environment right through to the mental space. But it's also important to remember, as the material points out, that inner distractions are just as potent. Distractions aren't solely external things like phone notifications, are they? The material highlights internal forces, things like self-doubt, overthinking everything, worrying constantly about others' opinions, fear of failure as equally powerful internal distractions.
Oh, absolutely. These internal distractions are formidable adversaries indeed. The author explains that they are powerful internal forces that can pull you away from your true purpose, from your vision, just as effectively, sometimes even more effectively, than external noise. So you must learn techniques to quiet this inner static, this internal noise. You have to learn to deliberately refocus your mind when it starts wandering toward fear, doubt, or unproductive worry. Building a life worth truly living demands immense endurance. It requires the ability to persist long after that initial excitement inevitably fades. It demands the discipline to work diligently, even when no one is watching or cheering you on. And this endurance, the material strongly argues, relies heavily on a ruthless and consistent elimination of all forms of distraction, both the external ones and these potent internal ones.
The chapter concludes by framing this entire endeavor as the battle within and unwavering intentionality. You'll probably need to make difficult sacrifices sometimes. You'll have to consciously say no to good opportunities or requests in favor of the best things that align with your vision. You might have to bravely endure that feeling of missing out, FOMO, on fleeting pleasures. The real battle, the author reveals, is internal. Can you keep your eyes locked firmly on your vision when the world relentlessly tries to pull you away? Can you stay true to your important work when entertainment, escape is literally just a click away?
And for you, the listener, the author makes a crucial connection here. Every conscious choice you make to focus is a powerful choice for your future self over those fleeting, temporary feelings of the moment. Every no you say to a distraction is a resounding yes to your dream. This isn't about achieving impossible perfection. Nobody does that. It's about cultivating unwavering intentionality, being absolutely clear about your personal building process and fiercely protecting it with every decision you make. The provocative thought here is a powerful charge. No one else is going to organize your time for you. No one will clear your schedule to make room for your dreams. That is your inherent power and your solemn responsibility. This, the author asserts, is your moment. Your moment to be sharper, stricter, more determined than ever to protect your time, your energy, and your mind. Cut out anything that weakens your focus, steals your time, drains your energy, or dims your unique light.
Chapter 6 brings us to a deeply empowering principle, yet one that's often really challenging in practice. Own your life without blaming anyone for anything. This chapter identifies what the author calls a critical juncture, a turning point in life, the moment you decide. Do you continue pointing fingers at external circumstances at other people, or do you choose to take full, absolute responsibility for everything you wish to change? What's the profound consequence of choosing blame over ownership?
This is such a profound truth, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The author meticulously explains that as long as you choose to blame, whether it's your upbringing, your current circumstances, your boss, the economy, whatever, you inevitably remain stuck, fundamentally powerless, perpetually behind in your own journey. Blame offers this fleeting, deceptive comfort, right? It makes failures feel external, maybe less painful in the immediate moment. However, its cost is immense. It actively cedes control to those external factors or people. It robs you of your inherent power to actually change your circumstances. When you blame, you essentially hand over your personal agency and become just a passenger in your own life, tossed around by events.
So defining and embracing ownership becomes the absolutely pivotal shift. The material clarifies that owning your life means taking full, unequivocal responsibility for your decisions, your habits, your mindset, and ultimately your outcomes. And this isn't presented as harsh self-blame, is it? It's framed more as a liberating recognition of your inherent power to make new choices, different choices, starting right now, today.
Exactly. The author states it clearly. You are not stuck. You are not helpless. You are always in every moment at a crossroads where choosing ownership propels you forward, and choosing blame actively holds you back. The implication for you, listening, is truly transformative. The shift from blaming to actively building, from making excuses to finding genuine solutions, from seeing yourself as a victim to becoming the leader in your own life. It changes everything. Obstacles then transform. They're no longer insurmountable barriers, but valuable lessons. Mistakes become essential tools for refinement and learning. And setbacks get reframed as powerful building blocks for a stronger future. It's a total paradigm shift.
This shift sounds like it frees you from being chained to the past. The material strongly emphasizes shaping the future, not rewriting the past. It states pretty bluntly that it doesn't ultimately matter how unfair your starting point might have been, what specific setbacks you faced, or what others did or didn't do to you along the way. What truly matters is what you choose to do now in this present moment. Why is this present-focused perspective so crucial for moving forward?
Because you simply cannot rewrite the past. The author clarifies this very directly. That chapter is closed. It happened. However, you can absolutely, actively, and intentionally shape your future, starting with your next choice. This means learning to turn disadvantages into unexpected strengths, maybe, and turning failures into invaluable training opportunities. The material highlights that the strongest people don't waste precious time and energy complaining about what they don't have or what went wrong. They work diligently with what they do have, right here, right now. They build and move forward with an unwavering focus on solutions, not problems. They embrace their current reality, whatever it is, as their starting point and build from there, day by day, choice by choice.
And this demands what the material calls the honesty of ownership and reclaiming power. Taking ownership often requires facing some uncomfortable truths, doesn't it? About our own, maybe laziness sometimes, or fear-driven decisions we've made, or our inherent shortcomings. The material stresses this isn't for self-flagellation, for beating yourself up endlessly. It's for genuine, tangible improvement. Why is this level of honesty, especially with oneself, so critical for real, lasting change?
Because real change, the author asserts, always begins with real honesty, especially honesty with yourself in those quiet moments when no one else is around. And every single time you choose to take responsibility, even for a small thing, you actively reclaim your power. You stop waiting for others to rescue you or for perfect conditions to magically appear before you start. You step firmly into the driver's seat of your own life, steering it with conviction in the direction you choose. The material delivers a blunt truth here. No one owes you your dream. It's your job, your sole responsibility, to show up and work through the challenges, regardless of where they came from.
And finally, this leads to a clear and important distinction between responsibility over fault and unshakable foundations. Responsibility, the material clarifies, isn't necessarily about fault. It's always about ownership of the response. It might not have been your fault that you were knocked down, but it is undeniably your responsibility to choose to get back up. You're still fundamentally in control of what happens next, of your reaction.
Yeah, and the provocative thought here is incredibly direct and empowering. Blaming never built anything worthwhile, ever. Every single minute you spend blaming is a minute lost for actively building the future you want. Ownership, the author insists, is freedom. It means recognizing that every step forward is unequivocally in your hands. Every improvement is truly within your reach. Build a life founded on full, radical responsibility, no shortcuts, no excuses, no blame, just courage and relentless forward motion. This foundation, the author argues, is ultimately unshakable. It's built on solid ground.
Chapter 7 brings us to something we all face, I think, an almost universal human experience. Push yourself harder when you feel like quitting. Life, the material guarantees, will present moments where quitting seems infinitely easier, maybe even more rational than continuing. It doesn't matter how strong your start was or how grand your dream is, there will inevitably be days when the journey just feels heavier than your strength can possibly bear. Why are these specific moments so defining for our path?
The author clarifies that these moments are defining because they fundamentally decide your future trajectory. Think about it. Everyone feels like quitting at some point. It's human. But few, truly few, make the conscious choice to push harder in that exact moment. That's the crucial distinction. Most people, the material points out quite frankly, never reach their full potential. Not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they retreat when the pressure gets intense. They actively seek escape from discomfort. Or they believe that pervasive, insidious lie that their effort is no longer worth the struggle. Success, the author asserts, belongs without question to those who find a way to persist when every fiber of their being just wants to stop, to surrender.
So it's really about prioritizing actions over fleeting feelings. You simply cannot allow those temporary feelings, exhaustion, doubt, frustration, discomfort, to dictate your permanent future. Your future, the author insists, isn't built on how you feel on any given day. It's built on how you act when action is incredibly hard, when your inner fire feels like it's flickering instead of roaring.
Exactly. Pushing harder, the material explains, means developing a conscious acceptance of pain, of discomfort, as an integral and often necessary part of the growth process. It doesn't mean you like it, but you accept it. It's about recognizing that major victories almost invariably follow major struggles. That feeling of wanting to quit, the author reframes it brilliantly, isn't actually a stop sign. It's a potent signal. It's a signal to dig deeper, to find a new reservoir of strength you likely didn't even know you possessed. It's a test, yes, but it's also a potential revelation of your true capacity if you push through.
And this leads to a really powerful mental shift. Viewing walls as challenges, not barriers. When you encounter a wall, a major obstacle, a plateau, most people understandably slow down, or they give up, or they settle for something less, for mediocrity. But the material instructs us to actively train ourselves to perceive these walls not as stop signs, but as challenges to be overcome, and to see the ensuing struggle not as a sign of failure, but actually as confirmation that you are, in fact, on the right path, pushing boundaries.
Because true growth, the author explains, only ever occurs when you are stretched well beyond your established comfort zone. That's where the magic happens. The material offers vivid illustrative content. Every champion in any field has faced a breaking point, a moment where quitting seemed like the smarter, safer, more sensible option. Yet somehow they push harder. They found a way to give just a little bit more, maybe just one single extra ounce of effort. They refused to let temporary exhaustion or pain define their ultimate story. Their choice in that critical moment forged their legacy.
This sounds like it requires an almost unwavering loyalty to your future, not your comfort. You have to become stronger than that insidious inner voice that's always urging you to quit, to take the easy way out. You need to be wiser than the emotions begging you to surrender. You need to be fiercely, uncompromisingly loyal to the future you envision, over the immediate comfort of stopping the struggle right now. The material warns starkly that comfort will lie to you. It will seduce you into abandoning everything you've painstakingly worked for, just so you can feel good or safe in the present moment.
Yeah, the author pinpoints this precisely. The moment you want to quit the most, that specific point of peak resistance where everything in you screams, stop. That is the undeniable gatekeeper separating mere dreamers from true achievers. If you can find a way, push through that specific agonizing point, the material assures us you can push through almost anything that comes later. Furthermore, the author reveals a fascinating insight. The sheer size of the struggle you're facing is often a direct indicator of the size and significance of the reward waiting on the other side. This reframes difficulty not as a problem, but as a precursor to greatness. It means you're aiming high.
So how do we cultivate this strength? The chapter guides us in building unstoppable strength. When you feel like quitting, the material advises take a step back, pause, and consciously rekindle your why. Remember the initial vision, the promises you made to yourself, the imagined future that first fueled your journey. That urge to quit, the author suggests, often signifies that you're actually closer to a breakthrough than you might think. Don't stop just before the dawn.
Right. And the author strongly advocates building the specific habit of pushing just one more step beyond your normal stopping point. Always one more. Whether it's one more rep in your workout, one more page of reading, one more crucial phone call, or one more focused hour of deep work. Just one more. The provocative thought here is incredibly direct. Nobody else is going to push for you. This moment, right here, is where you save yourself. This is where you rise on your own inherent strength. This is where you prove your unwavering seriousness to yourself. Every single time you push harder when you want to quit, you build invaluable mental toughness, profound emotional resilience, and a character that can truly withstand immense pressure. The material affirms that you unequivocally have this ability within you, waiting to be tapped. Don't quit on your future. Don't quit on your boundless potential. Your future self, the author concluded with conviction, will unequivocally thank you for not quitting when it was hardest.
Okay, let's consider the crucial insights from the 8th chapter now. Trust your process, even when results are invisible. Life, the material readily acknowledges, inevitably includes these seasons, these periods where immense effort, consistent hard work, dedicated focus, they yield no immediately visible results. You work tirelessly, you put in the hours, but the tangible rewards, the clear signs of progress, they seem distant, maybe even completely non-existent. Why is this particular phase so critical and often so devastating for so many people trying to achieve something big?
This is exactly where most people, the author points out, inevitably give up. Doubt starts to whisper those insidious lies, right? Suggesting that their efforts are futile, that they're wasted, that they're ultimately not worth the ongoing pain or sacrifice. But the truth, as the material reveals, is that true, meaningful growth happens long before the results become apparent on the surface. Success is quietly, painstakingly earned in those unseen moments, in the quiet discipline day after day, long before it ever manifests publicly for others to see. So many people abandon their dreams not because they lack potential or talent, but because they lack patience. They effectively abandon the field before the harvest time has even arrived. They quit too soon.
So it requires this deep believing in the unseen. Trusting your process then demands not just continued effort, but a deep, unwavering belief in what you can't yet see. It's about cultivating the profound patience required to stick with what you started, even when external validation is completely absent. It necessitates an almost unwavering faith to continually nurture those seeds you've planted, even though they haven't yet broken through the soil.
Yeah, and the author is clear on the challenge. Consistency is relatively easy when progress is clear, when you're getting positive feedback, when things are visibly moving forward. But it becomes incredibly difficult when your internal doubts are screaming and the external world offers silence or maybe even criticism. This, the material asserts, is the real test. The test of your commitment, your character, your belief in your vision. It's the moment when your internal resolve is truly forged, determining whether you persevere through the quiet darkness or succumb to the quiet despair of unrewarded effort.
And this commitment leads to a deeper understanding of the compounding value of every action. You have to fundamentally trust that every single action, no matter how small it feels, how seemingly insignificant, or how invisible to others, profoundly matters. Every workout when you're tired, every dedicated study session when you'd rather watch TV, every quiet morning spent planning your next steps. They all contribute to meticulously building your future piece by piece.
Exactly. The material emphasizes that the work is never truly wasted. Energy invested in genuine growth is never actually lost, even if its effects aren't immediately apparent or measurable right now. The author wisely notes that doubt will inevitably be louder than belief on certain days. That's just part of the process. It'll make you question your dreams, question your path. These, the material states, are precisely the days when trust is paramount. Trust in the process. Trust to keep you steady amidst the emotional storms. Trust to keep you grounded when the world offers no tangible proof that your efforts are paying off. This internal conviction, this trust, becomes your guiding star through the fog.
The chapter beautifully illustrates this with courage in the dark and the seed analogy. It takes immense courage, the author notes, to work diligently in obscurity, to remain fiercely loyal to a dream when there are no immediate trophies, no external recognition, to believe wholeheartedly in yourself when nothing around you seems to be outwardly changing.
And this deep belief, the author explains, has to come from within. From recognizing that true growth is fundamentally an internal, silent process before it leads to any external manifestation. The analogy is vivid and really powerful for you, listening. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. For weeks, maybe months, nothing seems to happen above the surface. It looks like nothing's going on. But underneath, unseen, roots are growing deep, foundations are forming, a complex support system is silently developing. When the sprout finally emerges, it often appears sudden, almost like a miracle overnight. But it's actually the culmination of everything that happened diligently, silently, below the surface all along. Your personal growth, the author assures us, operates in precisely the same profound way.
The final point in this chapter powerfully emphasizes patience as a powerful force. You have to consistently remind yourself, maybe even daily, that your dedicated work isn't being wasted. It will pay off. Every disciplined day, every tough decision you make, every no you say to distractions, it relentlessly builds something greater, even if it feels completely invisible in the moment. Progress isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes, often, it's silent, steady, and incredibly slow.
Yeah, and the provocative thought the author offers for you here is this. Trusting the process means actively detaching yourself from the need for instant gratification. It means understanding deeply that the best and most enduring things in life invariably require time, patience, and dedicated cultivation. Avoid shortcuts, the material warns strongly, for they almost always cost more in the end, often in compromised quality, fragile foundations, or regrets down the line. Stay fiercely loyal to your process, to your own high standards, and to your core vision. Those invisible seasons, they aren't times to despair. They are precisely where your character is built, where your true strength is forged, and where the most profound internal shifts quietly occur. The future, the author concludes, belongs to the patient. The rewards belong to the consistent. And victory belongs to those who trust their process, even when absolutely nothing seems to be changing on the outside.
We're now at a really pivotal point in the material, exploring Chapter 9. Stay locked in on your vision until you win. Embarking on any significant journey, the author guarantees, will bring inevitable tests. There will be relentless distractions pulling you off course, insidious doubts whispering in your ear, and totally unexpected obstacles popping up out of nowhere. Maintaining focused momentum is relatively easy when things are going smoothly, right? But it becomes incredibly difficult when chaos reigns and uncertainty abounds. Why, in these critical moments, must your vision be stronger than your emotions?
Precisely, because your emotions will fluctuate wildly in those moments. The author emphasizes that you must lock into your vision with an unwavering, unshakable grip. A grip so tight that even the worst, most challenging days cannot possibly loosen it. Your vision, the material clarifies, is that crystal clear mental picture of the life you are actively, intentionally building. It's not something you just glance at once when you're feeling motivated and then forget about. It's something to be kept alive, vibrant, and present in your mind daily. Otherwise, life's constant noise, its urgent demands, its inevitable emergencies, they will undoubtedly bury it. Your vision, the author asserts firmly, is your personal responsibility to protect, to nurture, and to actively cultivate every single day.
This sounds like a daily, conscious choice, then. It truly is the daily act of choosing your vision. Protecting your vision is indeed your personal responsibility. Staying locked in means repeatedly choosing it when you're tired, choosing it when you're discouraged, choosing it when you're faced with easier, more comfortable alternatives, Choosing it when quitting seems like the most convenient and logical option. Your vision, the author posits, must become the guiding magnetic force behind every single decision you make, meticulously directing how you spend your time, where you put your energy, and even shaping your entire attitude towards challenges.
And the material points out a critical reason why so many people ultimately fail to reach their goals. It's often not because their dreams were actually impossible, but because they simply lost sight of them during the inevitable tough times. They allowed fear or frustration or short-term emotions to cloud their vision and dictate their long-term choices. The author makes it absolutely clear that your emotional state, while valid and important to acknowledge, cannot be the compass guiding your life's journey. Your vision, clear, compelling, and consistently revisited, must be that unwavering compass.
That brings us to refusing dilution and cultivating unshakable belief. If you're truly serious about winning, about reaching that vision, the author states, you must actively prevent anything external doubts from others, setbacks, negative news from diluting your powerful internal vision. You have to see it so clearly in your mind's eye that it becomes more real to you than your current, perhaps challenging, reality.
Yeah.
You have to believe in it so strongly that setbacks cannot possibly shake your core faith in it. And you have to hold on to it so tightly that you continue building, brick by painful brick sometimes, even when others around you don't yet see it or understand what you're doing.
And for you listening, the author insists that your vision must become an intrinsic, undeniable part of your identity, something you commit to and protect fiercely, even when your motivation wanes, as it inevitably will from time to time. Every single decision you make, big or small, either actively propels you closer to achieving that vision or pulls you further away from it. The author stresses there is no neutral ground here. There's no middle path in this level of commitment. And understanding this actually simplifies countless choices you face every day.
Staying locked in like this sounds like it demands significant discipline, sacrifice, and inner fortitude. It means consciously saying no sometimes to good things or opportunities so you have the capacity for the best things that align with your vision. It means actively ignoring those voices, internal and external, that tempt you to settle for less. It means rejecting the seductive allure of immediate comfort. And it means constantly reminding yourself of your profound why, the reason you started this journey in the first place. The author acknowledges realistically that people may not understand your vision. They will likely question it. They will undoubtedly doubt it.
And you must, the material urges, stand strong anyway, without needing external applause or validation. You must be willing to walk alone if necessary, because your belief cannot and must not depend on external approval. It has to be internally generated and sustained. The author paints a vivid, honest picture. There will absolutely be days when the gap between your current reality and your grand vision feels overwhelming, discouraging. Days when progress seems utterly invisible, like you're just spinning your wheels. These, the material asserts, are precisely the times when locking back into your vision matters most. When you must see with your heart, with your conviction, what your eyes cannot yet perceive in the external world. It's about maintaining that unwavering inner sight, even when the external view is clouded or confusing.
The chapter powerfully concludes with the concept of the unbreakable mindset. Locking into your vision isn't passive. It's presented as an active, deliberate, and deeply intentional process. It involves waking up each day with your future clearly in mind, vigilantly guarding your thoughts, your conversations, your entire environment from anything that might contaminate your clarity or dim your resolve.
Right. The author advises us to expect setbacks, failures, disappointments. They are inevitable parts of any meaningful journey. But crucially, never ever let them redefine your core vision or shrink your dreams down to fit your current circumstances. The provocative thought here is a truly powerful one for you to hold on to. When it gets hard, don't lower your standards. Instead, rise to meet the challenge. When it gets lonely on your path, don't question your choice. Instead, find strength and clarity in your solitude. Stay locked in on the life you envisioned when you were feeling clear-headed and brave. The ones who ultimately win, the material asserts, are those who refuse to be distracted by the problems and the noise. They keep their eyes fixed firmly on the prize. Become unshakable, immovable, so locked into your vision that quitting, settling, or doubting yourself are simply not viable options anymore. Stay locked in until you win. Not just until you're tired or bored or uncomfortable, but until you are standing fully inside the life you once only dreamed of building.
And finally, we arrive at the concluding insights in the material's 10th chapter. Rise again every time you fall or feel lost. Whew. Life, the author states unequivocally, will knock you down. It's not a matter of if, but simply when. Despite your strength, despite your meticulous preparation, despite your best intentions, there will be stumbles. Plans will inevitably fall apart sometimes, and you will experience seasons of profound uncertainty or feeling lost. In these moments, the author says, your true strength is profoundly revealed not by somehow avoiding the falls, but by your unwavering willingness to rise again every single time.
This is such a fundamental, almost universal truth, isn't it? As the author explores, falling is not in itself failure. Staying down after you fall, that's the true failure. Feels lost is not weakness. Giving up on yourself when you feel lost, that is. Every champion, every leader, every successful builder throughout history learned and mastered the essential art of rising, of rebuilding their courage when they felt broken, of finding their footing again when the ground beneath them shifted unexpectedly. Rising again, the material emphasizes, isn't about pretending you were never hurt or that it didn't affect you. It's about a resolute refusal to let that hurt, that setback, ultimately stop you from moving forward toward your vision.
The material then illustrates the choice after defeat. When you fall, your mind almost instantly presents two distinct paths, two voices. One says, stay down, protect yourself from further pain or failure. It's safer here. The other says, stand up, move forward, trust that this isn't where your story truly ends. The easy path is always to give up, to stay down. The stronger path, the author insists, is always to rise. And every single time you choose to rise, you make a profound decision about the kind of life you will lead, consciously choosing resilience over defeat.
And the implication for you, listening, is crucial. There's absolutely no shame in falling. The shame lies only in refusing to fight back, or in believing that one single fall somehow defines your entire potential or your entire future. Every fall is presented almost as a test of your hunger, your discipline, your heart. It's relentlessly asking you, how bad do you really want this? How committed are you really to this vision you claim to hold? It's a crucible where your true desires, your true level of commitment are measured.
This repeated act of rising then cultivates the habit of resilient action. If you're truly serious about your dreams, the material argues, you must develop the consistent habit of getting up when staying down would be infinitely easier. The habit of taking action even when you feel utterly lost and directionless. The habit of moving forward even when you're confused and uncertain about the next step. The material suggests that clarity and strength are often built precisely by that sheer, stubborn refusal to quit, even when everything seems bleak.
Yeah, and the author provides comforting yet challenging, illustrative content here. The people you admire, the winners, the innovators, the leaders, in any field, they also fell, probably many times. They had days, the material reminds us, where they wanted to just disappear. Days where they questioned their fundamental worth, their ability to succeed. But somehow they kept getting up. They kept trusting that even the smallest forward motion, just putting one foot in front of the other, would eventually lead them back to a sense of purpose and ultimately to victory. It's a powerful testament to the cumulative power of sheer persistence.
And it requires rising through pain and rebuilding. There will be times, the material acknowledges with honesty, when the fall hurts far more than you expected, when the road back seems impossibly long and arduous. This, the author warns sternly, is absolutely not the time to abandon your dreams or drastically rewrite your core vision out of fear or pain. It's the time to summon your strength, to rise, to literally dust yourself off, to remember who you truly are at your core, to reclaim your focus, and to take the next necessary step, even if you're limping, even if it's painful, even if it's slow.
Rising, the author clarifies importantly, doesn't mean pretending everything is fine or denying the pain. It means bravely facing the pain, learning the invaluable lessons contained within it, and adamantly refusing to be destroyed or permanently defined by it. It's about acknowledging the loss, the grief, the disappointment, but steadfastly refusing to lose yourself in that process. And it's about building new plans, finding new routes, with whatever pieces remain after the fall. Your future, the material assures us with conviction, is always, always worth fighting for, even when today feels incredibly heavy and challenging.
The chapter profoundly concludes by focusing on defining yourself by your rise. It's okay, the author graciously grants, not to feel strong enough to rise sometimes.
Right.
Strength, in this context, is often found in the very act of pushing forward despite feeling weak. Your journey won't be a straight, easy line, but the twists, the setbacks, the storms, they aren't failures. They are fundamental parts of living, of growing, and ultimately of building a truly meaningful life. The material encourages you to give yourself permission to be human, to fall, to doubt, to feel lost, but then, crucially, to take the courageous responsibility to rise anyway.
And the provocative thought the author presents here is incredibly empowering, a real call to inner strength. You are not fundamentally defined by your falls, however many or however hard they might be. You are defined by your rise, by the immense courage it takes to stand back up again and again and again. You are defined by your ability to transform pain into power, setbacks into setups for future success, and loss into leadership. You don't need all the answers to rise. You just need to make the unwavering decision that the story isn't over yet. Rise tired, rise scared, rise uncertain, rise bruised, rise confused, but rise. Every single rise is a victory in itself. Every rise is a significant step closer to the life you're truly capable of living. And every rise is undeniable proof that the world hasn't seen the absolute best of you yet.
Phew. Okay, that was a lot to consider, wasn't it? But incredibly empowering at the same time. It really feels like this material gives you a solid framework, a way to approach life with genuine intentionality and, well, an unshakable spirit. It fundamentally empowers you to be the architect of your own destiny rather than just a victim of circumstances.
Indeed. Yeah, if we really try to connect this all to the bigger picture, the overarching message of focus on you until you win truly distills down into the profound, transformative power of self-commitment. It's a continuous, deliberate choice you make every day, a choice to invest deeply in your own growth, a choice to protect your unique vision with unwavering vigilance, and a choice to take full, unapologetic ownership of your personal path, your choice is your result. It's really about recognizing that the greatest, most impactful project you will ever undertake in your entire life is the building and the constant refinement of yourself.
It truly underscores that idea that consistent daily effort, often performed in those quiet, unseen moments when nobody is watching, nobody is cheering you on, that is the real game changer. It's about building that inner strength, brick by metaphorical brick, day after day, even when the world isn't paying attention or offering validation. That unseen, persistent work is, in the end, the true and unshakable foundation for everything else you aspire to achieve.
Which really raises an important question, maybe the important question, for you listening right now, to ponder as you reflect on this whole exploration. What single consistent action can you commit to starting today, like right now, to truly begin focusing on yourself until you win? And just imagine, how might that seemingly small daily commitment compound over time? How could it grow into the most profound and deeply personal victory, not just in the short term, but years down the line, fundamentally shaping the entire trajectory of your future?
That's a truly powerful thought to carry with you as you move forward from here. We sincerely hope this exploration of these profound insights has provided you with valuable tools and maybe some renewed motivation. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey of discovery today. Until next time, keep building that incredible future, one focused day at a time.